What's up, you guys? I am CA The Life, author of The Life. We're back here reviewing Maximum Influence by Kurt Mortensen. We're in chapter 7. It's called The Law of Dissonance. In the beginning, there's a quote by Dale Carnegie that says, the only way to get somebody to do something is by making them want to do it. And that's all about persuasion, you guys. We're talking about dating here on this channel. So we're going to use these different laws that have to do with persuasion to help you become a better persuader and get more dates. All right, so the law of dissonance. And dissonance, you guys, is the discrepancy between what you believe or what you said that you believe and what you do, your actions. That's what dissonance is. And the theory of cognitive dissonance, it says a psychological discomfort that happens when someone's actions or decisions are not congruent with their values, beliefs, or past commitments. Okay, so you start to feel this discomfort. You're not comfortable when your actions are not in line or congruent with what you say, what you believe, or what you committed to. And that's the theory of cognitive dissonance, which the law of dissonance is coming from. In Maximum Influence, Kurt Mortensen says that the law of dissonance states that people will naturally act in a manner that is consistent with their cognitions and their commitments. They will naturally act in a manner that is consistent with their cognitions and their commitments. So that's the law of dissonance. That's what we're talking about today. So in the beginning of the chapter, they talk about how this dissonance is an uncomfortable feeling or uncomfortable state. But it says in an uncomfortable state, they will be motivated to adjust their behaviors or beliefs. So they're going to adjust their behaviors or their beliefs to regain an emotional balance so that they can feel balanced again. As a persuader, you need to help people feel the dissonance about where they are now and where they want to be. Okay, that's going to be the basis for your persuasion. Where they are now and where they want to be, and that dissonance that's caused between making the decision to get there. So in order to be more persuasive, you need to paint the picture, and you're going to paint the picture of what their problem actually is, okay, and how you can solve that problem. And while you're painting the picture, you're going to show them how if they stay on the same road, they'll never get what they want. But you're also going to provide a solution in that if they listen to you, then they will get what they want. Okay, so you have to paint that picture. If you paint the picture correctly, you show them that problem, you show them your solution and how they'll never get what they want unless they pick your solution. Eventually, they'll pick your solution on their own terms, through their own convincing of themselves, and now they are committed to your solution. Mortensen also talked about different methods of protecting mental alignment. We want to stay balanced. We don't want that dissonance. We don't want that uncomfortable feeling. We want to stay balanced. So there's different methods that people can do. And he says when we feel dissonance, we have to find a way to deal with the psychological tension. We have to find a way to get back comfortable and not be uncomfortable anymore. And there's a few things that he noted. One is denial. That we just deny that there's a problem altogether. Reframing, where you just devalue the importance of whatever's going on. Searching, where we discredit the source and we seek social validation. We're searching for people that's going to validate what we did. We just have to find that. Separation, where you separate the beliefs in the conflict. Oh, it's okay for this because of this, but normally it wouldn't be okay, but it was okay for this. All right, so that's separation. And rationalization, where you make excuses on why it's acceptable. And the final one would be to just modify, okay? You're going to modify your beliefs or your attitude. And this is where you just change your existing beliefs. You might even admit that you were wrong. Okay, modification. And these are some ways that people get back mentally aligned. Now, Mortensen in the chapter, he's given some advice, and when you're having people make decisions, he says finalize the decision as soon as possible. As soon as that decision is finalized, then that person will start justifying um, their decision and making it a good thing. In this chapter, they teach you how to use dissonance to create action, and that's what we want, right? We want action. You're in the dating world, you're trying to get dates, you need action, right? So here's some ways that you can use dissonance to create action. Mortensen says that dissonance is a powerful tool to help others make and hold commitments. He's saying that most people will naturally, when they make a commitment, they will naturally try to follow through with that commitment and stay true to that commitment. And that's part of dissonance. For this same reason, this is why if you trying to get someone to do something, it's good to ask them to go ahead and calendar that down. That's kind of like a written commitment. One aspect of the law of dissonance is trying to maintain consistency with our actions and our commitments. And one thing that Mortensen talked about was getting your foot in the door and using the foot in the door method to make use of the law of dissonance. And getting your foot in the door is basically when you're using someone's self-perception to motivate them to do what you want them to do. For example, if you ask someone for 30 seconds of their time, and after the 30 seconds you ask them, hey, can you help me with this as well? That first time when you ask for compliance, they considered themselves a helpful person. So more than likely on that second time when you ask them to do something else, they still want to be perceived as helpful. So they're going to help again. So people want to maintain consistency by helping more in that example. And it says that number one, small commitments lead to large commitments. They're using the law of dissonance. Written commitments are more powerful, and public commitments are more powerful than private commitments for obvious reasons. Okay, you guys, so if you want to use this law of dissonance, there's 4 steps in utilizing the law of dissonance. I'm going to explain them to you now. First and foremost, the first step, you need to find their cognition. Okay, you need to understand what their beliefs, their experiences, their attitudes, what their wants and needs and desires are. The biggest thing in step one when you're finding their cognition is you need to figure out where they want to be, what their problem is that needs to be solved. You need to figure that out in step one. Step two, you need to get a commitment. You need to get a commitment from them saying that they need to find that they want to find a solution to this problem. And it has to be a voluntary commitment. It can't be a forced commitment. Forced commitments will not work with the law of dissonance. Step number three, you need to create the dissonance. You need to create that uncomfortable feeling. And how do you do this? Well, you know where they want to go. You know what their goals are, their desires, their wants, their needs. You know that already. So you need to show them how they are not acting on that desire or acting on that goal. They're doing the opposite. This is going to create that dissonance and that uncomfortable feeling. So once you create that dissonance and now there's this uncomfortable feeling because they know that they said they wanted to do this, but now they're showing the opposite direction, and that's not good. They're feeling very comfortable. There's a lot of pressure. Now there's a need to want to relieve that pressure. So now what? Now you come to step number 4 and you offer the solution. You offer the solution. As a power persuader, Mortensen says that you need to always have a way out. You need to always offer a way out. And that way out is what you have. So that way out, you need to show, you need to prove, you need to tell them explicitly how you can relieve that dissonance by solving their problem. They talked about where they wanted to go. You show them a solution to get there. If they choose your solution, they will automatically convince themselves that it's the right and only choice to make. And that's what you want. An example of this would be what I like to call needs-based dating. And it comes from the term needs-based selling, right? And I always say dating is sales. Anyway, needs-based dating. So when we go to step one and we're finding the cognition, what are their wants, what are their desires, um, what's the difference between where they are now and where they want to be? When you find that out, right? Now you get a commitment, right? So if you found someone that could provide you this, this, and this, or that can satisfy this, this, and this, based on whatever their needs and desires are, right? If you can find someone like that, would you be interested in discovering more about them? Maybe. Yes, I would. Okay, there's your commitment. Now you're like, hey, I have a solution. You know, I always like to do this. I don't mind providing this and this. How about that? So it's needs based. And now with dissonance, it's like, well, they just said that they wanted this, that, and the other. You're now willing to provide it. So what's stopping them from going with their commitment? Now the law of dissonance is setting in. Okay, so that's just an example in the dating realm. All right, you guys, that was the law of dissonance. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you replay this if you need to and learn how to use that to your advantage. And if you have any questions, please list them below. Please like, please comment, and subscribe. I'll talk to you next time.